Welcome, listeners, today to the Entrepreneurial Agent Podcast. Today's one of my honor and privilege to introduce a top realtor here in the coastal Virginia area, Queen Ellis. She's been one of coastal Virginia's top agents since the inception of her career 20 years ago. Her accolades are numerous, but to name a few, she's been recognized by many organizations and has earned the Top 100 Award, Woman of Achievement Award from ACHI Magazine, Quadruple Gold Award winner from Keller Williams, and many, many other awards, including top real estate producer, #1 Diamond Award winner, and just a litany. I can't read them all. There's so many here. So, Queen, welcome to the show. You're obviously super successful at what you do. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So I like to kind of open up and find out a little about you. You've been in this career for 20 years. So what did you come right out of school and jump into real estate, or because you look like you're that's probably about how old you are.
No, I'm a senior citizen. Don't get it twisted. I'm not that young. If I was doing it 20 years, and I started when I was 30, I mean 10. But I have been in real estate my whole life because my parents, I guess, introduced me indirectly through their own efforts in real estate. So as far as I'm concerned, I was born into real estate.
Right.
Yeah.
Were they real estate investors, or I mean, in what
No,
frame did they introduce you?
no, my parents are immigrants and they decided they were going to purchase a home. My grandmother lived at 592 Crescent Street. I lived at 628 Crescent Street, my parents, and we lived in the basement. So I call myself a basement baby. And my parents rented out the 2 floors above. And economically, that worked out great because they didn't have to pay any mortgage. They understood economics at that moment. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they got lucky, but it worked out.
Well, yeah, whether they did or they didn't, they sure did
Right.
that was a good move, right?
So I saw renters all the time, in and out.
So you learn the just kind of in living color the experience of being a part of an investment real estate project, basically, right? Because this house was the first of maybe one, maybe it's the only one they had, but at least you learned how the whole system worked, right?
Yeah. See, the thing is that we usually do it wrong. We buy the one house and we end up paying for it. Well,
Hmm.
my parents bought the house and somebody else paid for it. And that's how it's supposed to work. And that's not what we do normally. We don't do that. We don't buy our multifamilies. We don't, rent out the basements and the attics or whatever. And that's what you should do in order to create wealth for yourself. Let someone else pay.
Right. So why should you pay your own mortgage? What an interesting thought, right?
I mean, that's just the way it is. It's no different than, you know, there's a CEO of every company and somebody works and pays for that, right? You buy rental property so other people can help you build wealth, right? Same thing, same concept.
Right. So your experience growing up in real estate, just in that, I mean, did you come right out of school and dive right into the real estate investing, or did you have some other career path that sort of get you there?
So I actually went to college and I even graduated with a master's degree from Harvard University. And I kind of knew I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial, but I didn't exactly know how.
Hmm.
So I decided I was going to buy property and live off my rental properties. And then somehow the agent that I had was not, to me, it seemed like the agent didn't know as much. But here's how I got the agent. My grandmother said, go talk to Mr. So and so. That's my agent. That's my grandmother. And she's old, right?
Hmm.
So I guess I did what my grandmother told me to do. And that agent was not versed in a lot of things. So I decided I was going to go to real estate school and take a class so I could learn how to invest better because this agent didn't even have investment. So if you're going to choose someone to represent you, you might want to check and see if they mirror your goals and your value system.
Right, for sure. And so you went on, you took a class on that, and that led you in this path that's now 20-year career.
Well, what happened is I took the class just for the investment piece of it.
Hmm.
And when I was done, someone said, you would be really good at real estate. And I'm thinking, well, I just got my real estate license. It was just the weirdest thing. So I was out one day and I ran into a young man who he just found out he was my first client because he didn't know. Because you're new in real estate doesn't mean I'm new in business, right?
Right.
So I ran into him and he said he wanted to buy a house. And this is the year of 2000, I think, two. Market was terrible. You couldn't buy anything because there were multiple offers and everybody was friends in the real estate business. I just got my license. So I didn't know anybody. So offers were just not getting accepted.
Right.
So what I decided to do is I'm not going to fail at anything I do. I told that young man, I can help you. And I ran out there and I knocked on doors. And I said, look, my client wants to buy a home. Are you selling? He said, nope. Another door. Nope. Another door. The lady said, well, I'm in the military and I'm going to get deployed here in the next couple of months. I said, perfect. We'll buy it. We'll give you 10,000 on the price. We'll guarantee this. We'll guarantee that. You stay here in your house. And when you're ready to leave, we got it. We're good. That was my first sale. And I did it again and again. And I held hands with my next client and ran and knocked doors. Excuse me, you selling? No. You selling? No. You selling? Well, I'm in the military. I might be getting, orders. Okay.
So who needs an MLS system?
I couldn't, well, first of all, the MLS system here was antiquated. We were doing DOS.
Yeah.
So you had to wait on a book. You had to run around town and do a lot of stuff. It was ridiculous.
DOS.
So I didn't, yeah, it was DOS. It was a blue light. You had to go 2BD,
Uh-huh.
2DB for bedroom, VABCH was Virginia Beach.
Mm.
It was really weird. It was all the coding. You had to know how to code in order to use MLS. As a matter of fact, in 2003, when the MLS did come on board, we lost about half of our agents because they didn't want to use the MLS system as it was.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. You're taking me back to my engineering days. I grew up in DOS and machine code and things like that. So I'm dating myself a little too, but
me too. I had display right.
yeah. 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 The Lisa. I remember my first computer was the Atari 800, and that
That's
was my
right.
predecessor to the IBM that they made me get when I went off to college.
Yeah. Big old IBM. Yeah. I was from the days when we had the sound of AOL.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Put your phone in the modem. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Things sure have a time sure has flown. Things have
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
But but that attitude that got you started is probably the same attitude that's propelled you to the top, I would imagine, right? In terms of key
You know,
indicators or key activities.
I just don't believe in failure. I don't know. I hear a lot of people saying things like fail forward. You got to fail in order to know. One girl posted just recently, you're not a beast or goat until you have failed, lost everything, and started over. And I don't know what that feels like. So I'm not the average person, right? I'm going to consider myself in the 1% because there's no way you can fail into Harvard.
Mhm.
You just can't.
Right.
So failure is not an option, not
Right.
for me, not for my family, not for where I come from. There was no such word as I can't and I'm failing. Those
Mm.
words were forbidden. They were like curse words and it's like joining forces with the devil if you said that in our household. So if I decide I'm going to do something, I'm going to find a way to succeed or die while trying.
Mhm. Wow.
And most people can say that. They just throw up their hands and fail. You only fail when you don't prepare. But you fail to prepare, you're going to plan to fail. That's just it.
Wow, that's a great philosophy. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea that you didn't allow those words in your household. Failure, quit.
Yeah.
It's
No.
it seems like we have a whole society, a generation of people today that want to be a victim, right? And they're like they want everyone
Yeah.
to do it for them and
If it
wow.
didn't go right, it's because y'all didn't support me. If it didn't go right, it's because what about the fact that you didn't prepare right? What about you didn't market right? What about if you didn't target the right audience? What about you have to take that responsibility? So it's only failure when you don't plan right and you get down and don't get back up
Mhm.
because you have to plan. I mean, people don't plan for their future and then they cry if something happens and they can't make it. People don't plan for a rainy day and then they spend all their money on things they don't need, like liabilities and not assets, and then cry about it when something happens. People don't get life insurance and then they have to get GoFundMe's for their funerals. People don't plan for a lot of things, so right? If you don't plan, then you may fail. So if
Right.
you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
I was
That's
gonna
just it.
say, yeah, that I've heard that before, and it's a cliche, but it's a truism, right? That's
No,
so
it's
many
true.
cliches are true.
Totally. Totally true. I don't know any truer statement other than, believe it and achieve it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. You just have to do the things to manifest that and
Mhm.
put in the work? So there's
Well,
nothing you can't do.
that was the other thing I was gonna say. There's a lot of sort of mantra out there today of if you believe it, you can achieve it, but there is that ingredient that goes with that, right? You've gotta put the work in. You've gotta have discipline. I mean, so many people wanna skip over that part and sit in Starbucks at 11 AM with their latte and, they're waiting for their ship to come in, right? But they've never
Yeah.
sent that ship out.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen, but it's about manifesting. You have to put in your mindset, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna see how I can get to it.
Mm.
And you have to have a path there. So you can put it on a target. But if you don't do something and get your bow and arrow together and then learn how to focus the bow and arrow and pull the trigger, you can stay here with the target and the bow and arrow all day and never hit that bullseye. So it's important to, like you said, do the steps that it takes to, like, some people ask me, "What do you do? What do you do?" Get out of bed. That's it.
I
I
had a
don't have
friend.
a formula. Yeah.
I had a friend that's funny you say that Queen that he was real successful and he used to when I was young, he told me I was getting started in business and he said that success if you just get out of bed, you're about 80% of the way there. And if you just show up and if you work, you're about another 10% there. And he's like, the last 10% might be a bit of a dogfight, but at least you've cut out, 80, 90% of the competition because you're just in the arena, right?
Yeah. It's mindset. A lot of it's mindset. So, you know, I'm on a weight loss journey, right? And I don't know who doesn't like nuts and chips and cookies. I think we all kind of like it. I don't know. I just do. I can eat cake all day. I don't want nothing else. Just cake. That's it. I can wake up, have cake for breakfast, and I can have cake for lunch, and have cake for dinner. But unfortunately, at my age, I can't do it, right?
Mhm,
So I'm on the weight loss journey, and the whole mindset shift is no sugar,
mhm,
no carb, no processed foods, nothing but meat or fish or protein and vegetable. That's it. And somebody said, "Well, isn't that pretty boring?" And I'm like, I got a choice. I need to make sure I'm on this weight loss journey.
mm.
So I don't worry about what it's like. I got to shift my mind to say, this is what they're telling me I need. And after I got on that journey, I've never craved sugar.
Hmm.
So it- your body doesn't crave it because you're not feeding it. So you have to change your mindset.
Right.
If not, you're just going to be fat. You won't choose.
And so it's the same idea applies across other things, right? What you feed, what you focus on, you get more of. If you focus on the fear or the failure, you're going to be drawn to it versus success.
What you focus on expands. So
Yeah.
positive begets positive. Hard work gets results. Good thinking and positive thinking begets positive energies. So you have to think about that.
What holds people back? Why don't people do that? Why don't they focus on winning and doing the right things?
My degree is definitely not in psychology, but I do know that I can never tell you the mindset of other people because I can't. The same way people can't focus on the fact that I don't believe in failure, they think that is a foreign idea. Like when I say things like that, well, everybody's not, and everybody's this, and everybody's not like you.
Mm,
I can't put myself in the mindset of why people don't just, like, I coach people, right? So when I'm coaching agents and they're saying, well, I can't do this because of that, right there, you've already failed, love.
mm.
You're gonna have to just get off my phone, call me back when you get the word can't out because you already failed. We can't talk about that if you're telling me I can't. Well, I can't go on the internet and post on Facebook. I'm not good at that. Or I'm not used to being on camera. I'm not okay. Well, and you thank you for paying me for you to stay fat.
Are you
Paying
that
me to
blunt with
stay
them,
fat.
Queen? Do you tell it to them just like that?
Yes, and that's what my coach told me when I was working out. So you want to pay me to complain?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, pay me to stay fat. That's what you're doing. I'll take your money. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for nothing. Yes, I appreciate it. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I tell them that. I said, I actually put one on Facebook one time and I said, should I fire my client, my coaching client, who just told me she can't do something I just advised her? And it was like, yes,
Mm,
fire her. And I tagged
yes.
her too. The next day she was on Facebook doing what I asked her. So if you're going to pay someone to help and advise you, you're not going to take the advice and you're paying them to stay fat. You don't want to do that.
Well, that's kind of moronic, right? I mean, you're paying somebody to get you to do the things that you're not willing to do on your own. So that
Mm.
there's why pay them, right?
Right. Yes.
Why?
You're wasting your time. You're not wasting my time. I get paid. So I'll do it for the money, but it's not worth it for me because my satisfaction comes in other people's success. So it gets frustrating. And I tell them before we begin anyway that I'm a boot camp type coach. I'm not your soft kind. I want to hear about your
Mm,
problem. You got to get rid of your problems at the door. You need to come in here with low cortisol, a high mindset,
mm,
a mind shift. and a good attitude and everything else. You could tell to your mother and a psychiatrist, but for me, I'm only here for the wants.
No safe spaces, huh? In your coaching class?
They just have to understand, and everybody's not for everybody. I'm not interested in your problems. Your problems are why you called me.
That's
You
right.
know, my son went to Fork Union,
Yeah.
and the lady said when we called up there to ask questions about stuff, she said, "Listen, we've been doing this for 200 years. We never needed your help, and the reason why you're here is because you need our help.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why you calling. Have a nice day. Click them." And it's true.
It is.
They don't need our help. That's why we
No.
sent them kids to Fork Union to get them what they needed.
Yeah.
And I'm up here trying to, find out
Uh,
how I can insert myself, because they can't have phones, things like
uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
You start feeling sorry for your poor little baby,
Uh,
you can't communicate. It's like, we don't need your help. We never need your help. We don't need your help. And you're paying us to make sure we don't need your help. So have a nice day, mom.
yeah. Yeah. That's an awesome perspective. And,
Yeah.
sometimes we need an adjustment, right? To make sure we're thinking straight. I think, there's way too much safe coddling going on right now. Way
Everybody
too
gets
much of that.
trophy. Everybody
Everybody
gets
gets
a
a trophy.
trophy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's cool. Well, but only one is number one, right? So
No one can remember number 2 unless Steve Harvey made that mistake, and other than that, nobody remembered 2nd place.
no, no, you're the first
No.
loser, right? If you're second place.
That's all they remember. If they
No,
remember you, who
I,
cares?
I used to run marathons and I would laugh because I'm kind of a lumbering guy. And that was one of those things that it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I hated to run, but I got to it and did it. And I used to laugh because there was like the two or three guys in the front that were just crazy fast. And then the rest of us were just a bunch of losers there to make them look good, And I felt like, they're
Right.
already gone and we're still like lumbering along with, 10 miles to go.
And see, I wouldn't be in track if I couldn't be the number 1 seed. I couldn't win. If I can't win, I'm not playing. I don't play to
Yeah.
lose. So
Yeah.
I gotta play to win, and I play at a high level. So if I'm gonna play, I'm playing to win. It's funny because I don't care about being in competition with people. Like I don't want to go if they say, well, put your name in the hat and we'll, decide whatever, whatever. So there's a company here called Achi Magazine,
Mhm.
and I'm always nominated for something, right? I don't put my name in the hat ever because I always feel like I'm a lose. That's why I won't do it. If I thought I had it, I never do. And literally every time my name's been in the hat, I won. And I'm just like shocked because I just don't believe in competing. So I'm competing with all the entrepreneurs in Hampton Roads and became Entrepreneur of the Year. And I'm thinking, there's got to be some better entrepreneurs than me.
Mm,
But, it just is weird. And this is a community thing. And I've got Icon Award in Chesapeake. And I'm like, there's got to be somebody that's a better But I never do that because to me, my success and my achievements come from my own personal goals. So
mhm,
my friends may want a yacht. I may want an airplane, right?
mhm.
We don't have the same goal. So I set
Right.
my goals, and when I meet those goals, that's my success,
Mhm.
not measured amongst other people because we all have different goals. Some people
Right.
may be retired and they only want to do 2 transactions, they're happy. Some people are just in the game and they're like, yeah, I got to make all this money. I got to buy me a Maserati, a new Tesla. They might want to do 7 transactions, right?
Mhm.
Depends. I don't measure myself based on other people, but I've always been number 1. So it doesn't matter. I've always gotten in, to something. I applied for The Apprentice, the Donald Trump show back in the day,
Yeah.
and I got, chosen to be on the show. I declined.
Yeah.
But, if I'm going to apply to something or try something or do something, when I applied to Harvard and I got in and I never applied anywhere else, somebody's like, you're so risky. Why would you apply, just to one school? Because if it doesn't work out, and I was like, it's going to work out.
It's gonna work out.
So, I've already manifested it in my mind, and
Yeah.
I did what I needed to do, and I have all the credentials. It's not like I'm a Z student. I
Right.
got all F's and Z's and went up there and waved a flag and hope for the best. No, I put the work in, and I knew that if they didn't choose me, they would be at a loss.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, it's a great way to live. And you've defined success to you, what that means to you. And that in your definition of success might be, it's obviously not everybody's definition of success, right?
Exactly,
Not
exactly.
everyone's compelled for that particular drive. And you can
No,
still not believe in failure, but maybe not be driven by the same end goal that you are
that's
um,
correct.
in your life. And that's okay. But the key is you've got to know what it is for you, right?
right? We're different. We're all different. We can't compare ourselves because no two people are alike. You're unique all by yourself.
Hmm.
Period. There's
Absolutely.
nobody like you. We don't have the same hair follicles. We don't have the same lips or nothing's the same. And even if we have similar things, they're still not a exact. Even as twins, you're not even identical. I have identical twins. They are not exact,
Yeah.
but they are identical, right?
Right.
So one may have a patch here, one may have a little, look different there. That's why you can tell them this apart. They're not exact.
Right.
So there's no two people alike. So you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone. And that means even if you looked exactly like, your mindset's not the same.
Right.
Nothing's the same. You just can't compare. So you have to choose what you want in life, and then you have to work toward that. And once you achieve that, that's your success based on your goals, your values, and your understanding of goals. So
Yeah, yeah, well said. I can't improve that at all. That's awesome. Talk to me a little bit now about kind of shifting gears. The market has shifted a little bit in real estate. I know the last couple of years are crazy, but you've seen a lot because you got started so long ago. So you've seen ups and downs and all that. What do you see happening with your sort of looking back and then looking forward with your experience? What do you think that is going to happen in the market?
I can't predict. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't prognosticate anything. But what I can say is the difference between previous market and now is the lack of inventory.
Mm,
So if you look at 2006, 7, and 8, when things were going downward and we knew that was coming, a whole bunch of building going on.
yeah,
Every time I walk into a new site or new home builder's office, they don't have land, they don't have lot, they don't have materials. If they do have land and lots,
yeah.
prices are just crazy. It's taking longer to build where it used to be 4 or 5 months. Now it's 6 to 9 months or even more. And on top of all of that, the rates are at 7.1%. So now we have to get the mortgage industry back onto the fancy, funky financing they used to do, buy downs. And we got to get investors to unload on those arms because arms used to be the thing. So
Yeah.
if you couldn't do 7%, you can get a 4% arm, fictitious rate for 5 years, locked. They won't do it anymore because
Mm-mm.
their arms are so close to the regular rates. It's not worth it to
Yep.
pay that money. We need to get back to something like that, or we're going to have a little bit of an issue, and it's not going to be for a crash. It's going to be for the building community because people can still buy resale. They may not like what they're buying, but they can still afford to buy.
Mhm.
But the market, like especially new construction, because you don't know what the rate is. So now you got people unsure, uneasy about, and then you got those who do know the rate and they're like, I don't want to pay 7% for a $500,000 house who can now only afford a 400,000, and they don't want it because they expected 2,000 square feet, and now that 500,000 house is only 1,500.
No, right?
So they can qualify up to $670,000, and I have a person right now qualified to 700,000, but that payment is more like $5,000,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
want to be 3,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
it would have if you were 3%, but you're not. And now they're taking their 700,000 going down like 580,
Yeah. Yeah.
and even that's still like $4,000 on a 2-1 buy down.
Mhm. Yeah, well, we're not gonna see 3% rates again, most likely ever. I mean, since I've done this in '98 and you've done it since early 2000, that was such an anomaly, right? And we can trace it back a lot further than that. I think we'll settle back around 5. I'm
Well,
thinking middle next year.
they always say what you say. Okay, so
Yeah.
they say you're gonna see 3% again, but
Yeah.
in 2000 and right before the crash, 4 and 5, we had 0% loans. We had
Yeah.
Nemo. We
Well,
had
yeah.
no assets.
Well,
We
that's
had
true.
1%.
Yeah,
So
there you
we had that.
go. That's true. That's true. It
Okay,
was
you
very
forgot.
creative
You're the mortgage
financing.
industry. You forgot. They had that.
Yeah.
And then it creeped up,
Mm,
okay? It kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And then we had the crash,
mm,
right? And then we all had, I know I had 4 and 5% in 2008.
mhm,
And then I refinanced everything last year at 2.3 to 2.8
mhm.
in all of my loans.
Right.
So we were hearing that, oh, we're never going to see 2004, 5, and 6 again, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Then we went back down to 2 point I saw as low as 2.1
Mm.
in 2020.
Yeah, we
So
were
we did
down
have
199.
I saw 199, but you had to catch that on a certain day. Nobody I knew
Yeah.
got it, and it was
Yeah,
down
yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
So there was actually 1.79 if you were willing to pay a little money. So we had them low. But then we got up to about we got up higher and then went back down again.
Mm,
As soon as COVID and everything happened, went back down again.
yeah.
So I don't think it won't go back down, but I think a healthy market should be between 4 and 7%.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's a healthy market.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, when rates are so low, we're throwing gasoline on the fire of appreciation, right? And how long can you sustain 15 to 20% appreciation year to year to year? I mean, you just can't sustain it.
But it did well, especially for my rentals.
Well, yeah, that's good. That's right. If you have a nice investment portfolio of rentals, which goes back to your original comments when we were talking about wealth and real estate,
Yeah.
because over the long term, real estate's going to stay in pace or ahead of inflation, and so that's probably the best asset class out there to beat inflation. Plus, you've got other people paying the loans, you got depreciation. There's all the benefits that are associated with. So I'm tracking you.
Yeah, we went up. I went up about 30 to 40% in real estate in
Mhm,
year two. So rents went from say 900 to 1500,
mhm.
1600 to 2000.
Yeah.
These are crazy numbers.
Well, that's one of the things they don't talk about as much in terms of, affordability on purchases of new homes. Well, rent's going up too, so it's not exactly
Crazy.
cheap to rent.
It's not. And not only it's cheap, but not cheap to rent. There are no rentals. There's a shortage of rentals.
Mm,
And it's so bad that they used to put, if you didn't have a 700 credit score, don't even waste your time applying because there were so
mhm,
many applications.
right.
And so, I cater to the military. So I try to put it on military sites to help military families because we're a military family.
Mm,
So I'm real partial to that. Not that I wouldn't choose anyone else, but I'm saying that
sure.
I try to help as many people because a lot of them didn't have homes and they were transferring. So they're like buying things and renting things sight unseen.
Yeah,
And if they're willing to do that, I'm willing to help them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You got a family and you're coming to Virginia and
yeah.
the military you says you only got this many days to deploy and get here and do this. And now you can't find a place because it's crazy. But the BAHs are so good
Mhm,
that they can afford it. The BAHs are great
yeah,
when they give them basic allowance for housing. So
right, right.
yeah.
Well, interesting times. I hope you're right. I have no crystal ball either. I think we're in more of a balanced market. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and hopefully, it's going to be great going forward. But to your point early on, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. You got the rain, you got the sun, you got the soil, you got the seed, and regardless, you got to do something with it, right?
But the bad news is not only that prices of homes have gone up and rentals are high. I went to the grocery store the other day. I'm on a new thing. I know this is crazy for me, but I have to watch what I spend, right? Which has never been the situation. I've never looked. If I want to buy something, let's go to the store, pick up the groceries. I got to eat it, right? I
Right,
can't be figuring out
right.
why the apples cost what. And the bag of apples was almost seven. I was like, how much is this apple? I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And then I buy salmon a lot because I'm a pescatarian, sort of.
Mhm.
So I went to go get the, Sam's Club version of salmon, and I was like, $27?
Mm,
What happened to 15.99? I mean, it
right.
just shocked me because I never really cared,
Hmm.
but I care now. And I'm like, maybe we need to get a stipend and not maybe we don't need the college relief fund, from the loans. We need a monthly stipend because this is really bad for families. And I never looked at it that way, but I'm
Yeah,
like, wow,
yeah,
I got to stop and control what I'm spending.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are realizing that now and making adjustments, and of course that'll ease demand a little bit, which helps bring prices down and so forth. So,
Write it down. Don't say those curse words. We don't
uh,
want prices
not of
down.
homes, not of homes, of the fish, of the fish.
Oh, the fish.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
did you hear about the Atlantic? They said Alaska, they had like a shortage of fish. Did you hear about
There's always a shortage of something. Yeah, that's right.
overfishing? I never heard of anything so bizarre, but yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of things going on. I'm not even sure what's going on with the market and the solar system and everything else, but we have to figure things out. And I don't think prices are necessarily going to go down. They might adjust a bit, but even the guy in California just said the California can't produce tomatoes. So
Yeah.
if we don't have local tomatoes, the price is going up because it's going to be
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
America's importing now. It's really weird. And a lot of stuff come from China, which it shouldn't be expensive because it's supposed to be cheaper. It's just a lot of confusion in pricing and what has happened from COVID and what happened with the markets and how we owe to these other countries because we borrowed to get good or we
Yes.
It's weird. I don't know. It's just a weird shift in my opinion. Even materials come from China. I mean, the housing
Mhm.
one builder took so long to build. I told him, I said, I could have drove to China by now and got that material. It took me so long.
Yeah,
11
yeah,
months to build a house.
yeah.
Yeah. They kept changing materials, saying they didn't have it, trying to think it was just too much. And now builders got smart and started ordering up front. And
Mhm,
those same builders are going to have to come down on the price. I'm looking at Phoenix and Florida and
mhm,
some of the higher end markets that went up so high,
mhm.
they're coming down.
Yeah,
Lots of
yeah,
them coming down.
yeah.
They went up too high, and there's the demand of influx of people moving in are lower
Mm.
because of the interest rate.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. It always happens. The cyclical markets like that, or they go up and go down, so
Mhm.
wow,
Yeah.
interesting times, Queen. Well, this has been great. I think we're pretty much wrapping up and running out of time. Tell us how we can get in contact with you if we want to work with the number one realtor in coastal Virginia who will not fail.
That's correct. I don't believe in failure. If my clients come to me, we're going to get it done. I am at 757-809-2525. It's very easy to remember until they change our area code to 948. But 757-809-2525. My URL is dreamgirlsrealestate at gmail. I mean, at .com. And that's my email, dreamgirlsrealestate at gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook at Dreamgirls Real Estate. I'm on Google as Dreamgirls Real Estate. Yes, my name is Queen Claudine Ellis. And you can find me on Queen or Claudine on any of those sites if you typed it in. I'm on Zillow. I'm on all platforms, but I'm on Twitter. Everything is under Dream Girls. I keep it consistent. So if you ever type Dream Girls in, I believe you'll find me. Now, if you type Dream Girls in a different state like California, you're going to get some dancers. So, so we want to make sure it's Dream Girls Real Estate.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Aw
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we'll make sure that's all in the show notes, so it'll be in there and people can pick it up and
Dreams come true. Okay. That's what it's all about. Making dreams
Ah,
come true.
I
That's why.
like that. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, that's what you do. So, wonderful. Well, I've enjoyed my time with you. Thanks for
Thank
sharing
you.
today, and, hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, I wish everyone happy selling and happy buying. There's never a good or bad time to buy or sell. I don't want anyone to think that, oh my God, it's a bad time. Oh my God, it's a good time. It's a right time. At any time you're ready, it's a great time to buy or sell.
Well said. Alright, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.